Well, hi everyone once again, and welcome to IELTS program. In today's session, I would like to emphasize a lot on speaking. So today, let us discuss the hottest questions and cue cards of 2021, which are ready to be flashing the examination in the next few months' time. I must say, we'll try to make full endeavor to bring classic vocabulary, range of idioms and phrases with which you can articulate your content, and I'm sure your scores will proliferate to a new zenith. With a great optimism, I would like to welcome the first question from the floor, as we are in a very live session, and I would like to invite the questions right from the participants out here. So the first question comes from participant number 1. Over to you.
My question to you is, describe a risk you have taken which had a positive result.
Well, thanks for the cue card. It is my privilege to express my views on the given cue card. Someone has rightly stated, the biggest risk in life is not to take any risk. And some risks can obviously be taken on feasible grounds. And I remember, way back, I had the opportunity to venture into certain streams. After obtaining 5 years of requisite work experience, I switched off my job into multinational and took a bit of risk to open up an IT organization. And obviously, I took risk because I made massive investments. But then, obviously, I was very strategic in my approach, and I made sure that slowly and steadily I can win the race. I definitely hired right people for my organization, and the end result was I was able to experience exponential progress and growth in the world. I grew by leaps and bounds. I was able to make great opportunities, and the best part is that it was just not only in, say, monetary terms, but even otherwise in social terms, I was able to connect with the world, and I was able to make the most of it. So that is why it's so important for each one of us to sometimes take a bit of risk and go to the world and do some incredible, amazing things. And I'm sure today I've got association with many countries of the world, and we are closely associated and working and helping our candidates to take up top jobs internationally, be it in the United States, UK, Canada, Australia, Europe, and many other parts of the world as well. So to reckon with, I would like to say that it is quintessential on our part to explore new opportunities which come up your way. And I'm sure, slowly and steadily, you will be able to carve your niche. Don't anticipate too much from life. And let's see what you have in store for you, with which you can definitely grow so globally well, and you can carve your niche and establish your acumen in the world. Thank you. Now the next we have is...
Describe a friend or person who is good leader.
Absolutely. I believe that, yes, there are few people in the world who are blessed with certain attributes, leadership traits, which make them absolutely very effective in their approach. So here I would like to recall one of my childhood friends who indeed is very charismatic, who is indeed quite influential, and the best part is that he works 24/7. I find him to be very diligent, assiduous, versatile, and flexible. And which is why I believe he's able to head one organization, and he possesses great attributes in him. He definitely works very well. He's very result and target oriented, and the best part is that all his subordinates and senior counterparts appreciate him a lot. He always, acts as a strong channel between as a mediator among all the people in the world. But back home also I see him to be extremely diligent and very, very doting and extremely, good in his approach as well. He's very humble and down to earth. At the same time, he's definitely quite veracious in his statements, and he's always there to work for people. In addition, certain other attributes which may, really influence me, the fact that he's very kind to animals also, and he's also running an NGO and associated with PETA, with which he is able to definitely donate a good amount of money for rescuing and saving animals from certain atrocities and hardships and ordeals. So all in all, he's a very good person and a very good human being down the line, and I believe such people are always there to influence the young minds to action. Thank you. Next we have is...
Talk about a new public building or place which you would like to visit.
Absolutely. The new public building which I would like to visit. Now, I definitely have got certain, properties in Delhi NCR region, which is a cyber city, Gurgaon. And recently I came across a very amazing new public building, that to New Gurgaon, which is in the shape of a globe. It is made up of glass. It is one of the IT companies out there which definitely has started its operations just a couple of years ago. And the best part is that they're able to hire more than 500 people. The people working out there are very, very, result and target oriented. They are taking the organization to the next level. And the best part is that they've got excellent team spirit, coordination. But particularly emphasizing on the building, it is a very amazing, skyscraper, one of its kinds, which is tall, and there is a lot of steel and glass construction on all sides. And the best part is that definitely people can capture the entire panoramic view of the cyber city, Gurugram. And all in all, I believe it looks absolutely center of attraction of the entire Gurgaon city. And opposite to that, you'll be finding a lot of residential zones also. And the best part is it's very easy for people as well to commute to this building, and very easily they can walk as well. So all in all, I believe it's a very great, effective concept. Another building I came across was the very eco-friendly building, which in India has got great provisions, and it is very much environment friendly. And the best part is that it has got its own water recycling treatment plant. It has got solar panels installed right on the top, so I believe it is able to harness the best of solar power. And all in all, I think it is definitely constructed keeping in view all the latest amenities and facilities of the world. So I believe these new buildings definitely going to be quite, I would say, prominent in times to come, because these are very sustainable, and this is also a need of an hour that people need to live and work in such buildings, which indeed will be more environment friendly also. Thank you. Next, I would like to welcome is over to you. Yes.
Describe a book you read that you found useful, or describe an exciting book you read.
Absolutely. Now, it's rightly stated that books are the storehouse of knowledge. They capture maximum wisdom and knowledge, and with which we can definitely build a strong intellectual quotient. So one particular book which I always like to read is a book on spiritual aspects of life. So it is also called a spiritual link, which is definitely based on quite great optimism and positivity. I definitely have taken the subscription of this book, and from last 10 years I'm reading this book. This book also was recommended to me by one of my friends who definitely follows this great international platform where you can attend always a Sunday mass and get these books on spiritual aspects of life. So whenever I read this book, I find answers to all my questions, ambiguities, perplexities, apprehensions of life. And the best part is that after applying these basic attributes and principles on my respective work, I'm able to see a great transformation, and I would say I'm able to bring a lot of change in myself. And this transition enables me to take up every job with pride and dignity. I become far more relaxed and conciliatory in my approach, and the best part is that it helps me in every aspect and facet of life. This also tells me how we can definitely unify ourselves, and we can merge our soul back into this magnificent ocean, as we are nothing but a very diminutive part of it. And the best part is that every time when I read, it relaxes my mind, body and soul, and helps me to revitalize myself completely. And down the line, I've realized, as being in this world, we are very, very temporary beings. And the world is a stage, we are all the actors, we only come to perform our play. Some get negative roles, some get positive roles, but we have to perform to the utmost ability of ours and go backstage, which is a true home. So definitely, I could understand the very purpose of my life after reading this book. It helps me to go one step closer to attain salvation, and perhaps one day to acquire the heavenly PR also. So I believe it's a very interesting book and must read for most of the people who indeed are grappling with day-to-day life stress, problems in the relationship, ambiguity, infidelity, and many other aspects. So I'm sure this book will definitely bring so much of transformation, and it will definitely change your behavior and demeanor and make you aesthetic, positive, and optimistic towards life. So go ahead, read a few pages and see the change it can bring in you, in your career, and your respective life as well. Thank you. Next question we have is?
Describe a time when you received a good news.
Absolutely. The next question is on good news. And news is nothing but it's north, east, west, and south. And we definitely have a great hope that we can get these news from around the world. Now, we all have a craving of good news. And recently, I definitely got a very good news about the fact that the vaccines definitely have been launched, and a number of people have started receiving the vaccine. This was one of those antidotes which we were waiting desperate from last 1 year's time. And we are so ecstatic and euphoric to see that at least our elderly parents basically are able to receive the very first dose of the vaccine, and which definitely make them to be out of the clutches of this risk, and this virus is lethal and precarious. So obviously, it's a very good news, very exciting rather. And ever since I've seen my mom receiving, its first dose, and she probably is in a more innocuous state now. So definitely, I'm very exhilarated, thrilled, and I'm sharing it with the people. Since I'm salubrious by nature, that means I love to promote health and immunity, because I've been working with all the healthcare workers for a very good time, and I advise every person to definitely work on your immunity, because it is very quintessential on your part. And I always reiterate that an ounce of protection is better than a pound of cure. It's rightly stated, a stitch in time saves 9, or prevention is better than cure. So reduce your risk of falling ill, and then obviously getting the treatment done. It's better if you can take the steps at the nascent stage, and truly you can become strong, robust, and healthy. Health is wealth, a sound mind resides in sound body. Thank you. Next question we have is?
Describe a person who you think is very open.
Absolutely. Now, you come across people where on one side they're full of insularity, backwardness, narrow-minded and conservative. But I belong to a family which is very ultra-modern, educated, and hence definitely I've seen a number of my people also, my relatives, they're very, very open-minded. Here I take the privilege and opportunity to mention one of my friends who indeed is very open-minded and very candid person. Now this friend of mine is a doctor, and he's working with a top hospital in India. But the best part is that he's very open-minded, because he definitely has been one of those who has been educating people all around. He definitely explains everyone that why it is important for us to shower universal love to the world. And religion is not important, rather humanity is quintessential, and we need to emphasize on that. Love all, hate none. Treat everyone alike, and trust me, we can feel the power and positivity deep within ourselves. At the same time, this person is very fashionable, extremely, I would say, up to date, and the best part is that he definitely possesses a great deal of strong comm skills that can influence anyone in the world. And all in all, he's a nature lover. So he's staunchly working for the environment, promoting health, and helping every individual to carve his or her niche. And I believe every person needs this, this dose of optimism, the counseling, with which I'm sure we can create a new lease of life and a great hope in the world. Because there are many who are there to break your leg and to demoralize you. There are only few who are there to motivate you, inspire you, and they can be a great news to you. So if you follow such people, their status and stature can influence you, and definitely you can see a great change and transition in your life. So I'm sure he's one of those persons I strongly vouch for, and he strongly worked for people in every domain. And I believe that he's one of the very universally accepted individual also, and he has got his followers across the continents. Thank you. Next, few questions from the floor. Let's have it over to you.
Describe a polite person whom you know.
Well, politeness is quintessential as a great attribute in your physical self. And it is always important to be humble, to be meek, to be docile, and to be having certain amount of naivety in you. So one person whom I really find polite is one of my colleagues. He's definitely working with one of the organizations. I find him very humble and very, very soft-spoken. He's always there to give guidance and education to the people. I've never seen him making any controversial statement. Rather, any person who makes any offensive statements in front of him, he goes and corrects them very softly and explains them how you can have a sense of introspection, and you can revamp your statement, and you can definitely restructure and create a great impression. I believe doing a mistake is not a mistake, but repeating it is a blunder. Since not all fingers are equal, same way, well, you cannot find every person to be soft-spoken, to be polite, to be humble. But these are few attributes which influence every person. Even the most aggressive, short-tempered, and arrogant people also expect another person to be humble only. Because if, for instance, if people who are full of negativity and pessimism, and if they come across with another person who also is very aggressive, there'll be ego tussle, and their temperaments would be so severe that they can lead, it can lead to even hand scuffling also. And then, it's rightly stated, our brains are like matchsticks. Why? Because with a little friction, it ablazes, it leaves nowhere. So when you look at a humble matchstick, the moment you have a friction, it will ablaze, it will be left in ashes. And if human brain also behaves this way, obviously, we only will end up ruining our relationships with the world. So we get life only once. So live on good terms, and someone has rightly stated, every friend is important. You never know who might help you, when, where, and how. So that's why make sure that you always are reconciling and helping and trying to understand that how you can establish the deepest bonds of friendships and build greatest relationships, which I'm sure would be beyond the planet. So be polite, be humble, go to the world, and accept everyone with open arms. The world is all yours, and you can make a massive change and transformation in the world of today. Few last questions now.
Describe a person who wears unusual.
Unusual clothes. Well, obviously, we all definitely are the people who might wear certain clothes, and I have seen one of my friends in Day whose, dressing style is very different and he's very versatile also. And I see him wearing amazing clothes. I'm sure he definitely wears on one side formal clothes, and at the same time he also wears sometimes, casual clothes. But then because his personality is so globalized and so cosmopolitan that he looks very elegant, dashing, and smart. And I believe he carries himself so well, and he's in a very great shape, and the best part is that he looks very elegant, classic, and he definitely reflects so much of panache in his behavior, which makes him to be very desirable. He definitely is not into any showbiz or modern world, but still he's able to carry himself so well, which makes him one of the most desirable persons in the world. So all in all, I believe it is so important to make your own style statement and become much more fashionable and have a greater time in the world. Thank you. Two last questions from the floor. Over to you.
Describe a famous person in which you are interested in.
Absolutely. There are few attributes which make a person very famous. And I believe I'm definitely interested in none other than Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who definitely is one of the very great Prime Ministers. He's got a great sense of humor, he's very humble and down to earth, and the best part is he's a very young leader of Canada who definitely has faced many hardships. He was also into teaching stream way back, and he also has coached many bungee jumpers and a number of people in the world. He has done various programs in Canada, and at the same time, his father was running a political party and he got an opportunity to get into politics, and he definitely became one of the amazing persons in Canada who definitely got the power. And yes, in true terms, obviously, he has shown his great results, and he is a majority, having a great deal of optimism. And the best part is that he's definitely able to hold this position of being a Prime Minister of Canada for 2 terms in a row, and looks like even third time as well, he might be definitely a leader. He's of a French origin, but the best part is he has a strong command of 3 languages, that is English, French, and Spanish. And at the same time, he's definitely very liberalized, very modern, and extremely supportive also. And regarding his work in Canada, I think he's done commendable, opportunities he's created for people in Canada. And all in all, I believe he's working for the sake of people. He's an animal lover. He's a great environmentalist. And all in all, he becomes one of the most desirable persons of the world. So I'm definitely interested to know more about him, about the difficulties he faced in his life, and how he was able to carve his mission to become so successful in the world. Thank you. And the last question I would like to look at is,
Describe a conversation topic you were not interested in.
well, a conversation topic that I'm not interested in. Well, if someone asks me, I would only like to say, I do not like to indulge into conversation with people who baselessly showcase hypocrisy, pessimism, nonsensical behaviors, or the ones who are always there or aiming at demoralizing anyone, I believe. So I dodge and shun the company of such people who try to belittle others in front of them, who only having baseless expectations from each other. They expect another person to be superhuman, which is not possible on this planet, because I remember the planet itself is not perfect, and how you can expect perfection from humans when people question even God and Almighty also. So I believe it's not important, it's always good to be humble, to be down to earth, to be reciprocative of all the good things you can do in the world. So I definitely would like to indulge into conversation with people who are progressive, not regressive. The people who are optimistic, not pessimistic. The people who are positive, not negative. And at the same time, people who definitely promote growth and development, and not the people who definitely look down upon others and trivialize others. So I definitely believe it's very important to create that aura of optimism in you, with which you can just be able to work and be able to manage things and be able to bring transformation in the world. So I believe these are the conversations we should indulge into, and we should try to create a great impression in the world. This brings us to the end of the speaking round. I believe you listened to all these questions and answers and practice to perfection and aim at getting the best band scores, I'm sure. Thank you so much. Have a very, very great time. Thank you so much.